Bandits set up illegal checkpoints on highways in Chelyabinsk, Russia.
Какие цифры на башке номер?
729.
Тебе еще подъехал ни раз, я не знаю, как ты прорывался, блядь.
Фу, пират.
Блядь, 5 бригад работает конкретно. Так, смотри.
Drivers are stopped and demanded to hand over cash in exchange for passage.
Меня Олег зовут, пишу ЧТЗ, блядь. Блядь, как? Читызовский, я понял?
Ага.
Олег Читызовский, блядь.
Motorists are left with no choice but to pay the bandits to continue their journey.
Ну, кто у нас за городом смотрит, за читызовские пацаны, вот пусть свой шеф поинтересуется, Олег Читызовский, ну, типа, работает на трассе, и пусть поинтересуется, блядь.
A brazen carjacking incident was captured on dashcam footage along a Russian highway. Two individuals stood beside the road, stopping an incoming vehicle. The perpetrators appeared to remove an item from the car and fled the scene, prompting the startled drivers to pursue them briefly before departing. A brazen carjacking incident occurred on a Russian road. A group of individuals suddenly appeared and forcibly entered the vehicle. The carjackers sped away, holding the owners hostage inside the car. A violent incident occurred at a wedding celebration involving the Chechen Mafia. Escorts were seen exchanging gunfire, potentially sparked by a dispute amidst the festivities. Witnesses reported hearing shots fired into the air, adding to the chaos and danger of the situation. In late October 2019, an unsettling incident took place at a toll booth on the Rostov-Koda highway, a vital route connecting Moscow to southern Russia. Late at night, 3 female toll booth operators were on shift when 2 masked robbers stormed in. One of them smashed the booth's glass window with a hammer, causing the operators to flee in shock. The robbers emptied the safes, but before leaving they did this. They spilled gasoline inside and set the booth ablaze, causing widespread destruction. This next footage is the very definition of chaos. It's a clash between two rival gangs. Multiple shots rang in the air as the gangs exchanged gunfire, showing the seriousness of the situation. It took an armed military to bring the pandemonium to a stop.
Массовая драка и перестрелка с участием бывших членов ЧВК «Вагнер» случилась прямо под окнами жилого дома в Челябинске. По данным 74.ru и базы, конфликт начался из-за девушки, предположительно, дочери одного из бывших членов ЧВК. На опубликованных кадрах видно, как одна группа мужчин, часть из которых в камуфляже, избивает нескольких парней. Затем появляется еще одна группа мужчин, которая открывает стрельбу из травматических пистолетов, и участники драки начинают убегать. Управление Следственного комитета по Челябинской области возбудило уголовное дело о хулиганстве. После драки нескольким ее участникам потребовалась помощь медиков, а улицы Челябинска сейчас патрулируют усиленные отряды Росгвардии.
In late December 2018, Russian authorities targeted a criminal gang involved in illegal activities. Military officers arrested a notorious gang leader during a surprise operation while he was en route to a family dinner. The arrest further led to the discovery of illegal firearms, money, and evidence at an apartment linked to the gang.
Чисто.
Ничего, видеосвязь нет. Акцизным, честным.
On the first day of 2018, chaos erupted on the M5 highway near Ulyanovsk. Traffic was halted abruptly as police staged an accident to apprehend Mafia suspects. The operation, captured on a truck's dash cam, showed the suspects being swiftly arrested after a carefully planned maneuver.
Я не вижу снов. Вот почему. На кухне прохладно, там всегда открыта форточка. Встаю у окна, закуриваю, смотрю в ночь. Удачи, Балу. Удачи, Дэн. Чтобы все было хорошо. Удачи, Дэн. Удачи. Удачи. Балу, это не...
On a chilly November night, a gang struck a power tool store in Zapya, their fifth break-in that month. They swiftly stole valuable tools and a laptop, causing significant loss for the business owners. Despite ongoing police efforts, the gang managed to stay out of reach, evading capture at every turn. Shopkeepers at a convenience store were in for a tough day at work when two machete-wielding thugs barged in to rob the store.
Put the money in. Give me that money. Yo. Hey, give me your money. Hey, give me your money, fam.
However, the heroic shop worker thwarted the machete-wielding robbers by trapping them inside the store.
Whatever you wanna go, go and do it. What the have you?
With nowhere left to run, the suspects began pleading to the shopkeeper to let them go, but to no avail.
Let me go, fam. Bro, let me go. What? I'm not with him. I'm not with him. I'm a customer, bro. I'm a customer. Let me go. Someone help. Go back. Send me, you know. I'm going. Let me go, bro.
But eventually, they found their way out of the premises through the bathroom window. Red rage is a serious problem everywhere, but in Russia, these guys took it up a notch. This video from Russia is yet another example of how road rage benefits no one involved. Here's how a regular day at a gas station turned extreme when a few gangsters decided to show up. All was calm until a rival gang appeared on the scene, and things escalated pretty quickly. In Russia, a man entered a convenience store at 4 a.m., found the shopkeeper asleep, and decided to steal some cash. The man quietly took the keys, unlocked the register, and stole around $130. He has been detained and could face up to 5 years in prison. The party seemed normal at first until a group of hippie mafia guys entered the club and went straight into the crowd. They were having fun and blending in with the party. But soon, things took a turn. The men started fighting, throwing punches and slamming chairs. Meanwhile, the band in the background kept playing fast-paced metal music, adding energy to the chaos. The CCTV captured the moment when a man tried to stop some mafia guys from beating up another customer in a bar. But things quickly turned bad as the men began attacking him too. When it seemed like the fight was over and the mafia guys were about to leave, the man grabbed a chair and slammed it on one of them. That triggered round 2 of the fight, but this time with chairs and bottles. The thugs didn't just keep beating the man, they also started damaging the bar.
Idiot!
In this video, a sedan pulled over to the side of the road, not appropriately parked. A man in a white shirt got out and walked straight into the bushes, while his associate stayed in the car watching. A few moments later, the man in the white shirt came out of the bushes holding something. He walked to a car parked in front, made an exchange, returned with a bag, and then got back into the sedan, which drove off. According to reports, this dashcam footage captured a drug deal. Tired of the drug dealers in their neighborhood, residents of Novokuznetsk decided to take action. They armed themselves with sticks, stakes, torches, and axes, while the thugs came prepared with dogs and weapons. After some back and forth, one of the drug dealers got hurt, and a woman had to step in to stop things from getting worse. Thankfully, that was the end of it, as the drug dealers finally retreated. This female reporter showed real courage, thinking she could interview a man angrily walking toward the cameraman. Things quickly turned frightening when another mafia guy grabbed the reporter and threw her to the floor. Then, they all turned on the cameraman, attacking him. Stuck in heavy traffic, a Russian gangster saw the perfect chance to rob another driver. 3 men started smashing the car's windows while the driver, unable to move, had no way to escape.
Вот и все. То есть это и чуть-чуть. Глянь, что это такое? Ну всего доброго. До свидания. Вот черт, что говорят.
After several hits, the driver finally gave up and opened the door for the robbers.
Есть шпана. А наши все сидят.
Да, сейчас. Куда позвонить?
CCTV footage captured the moment 3 masked men entered a store. Inside, the armed men forced the cashier to lie on the floor while they emptied the cash drawers. They left quickly, just as they had come. This video captures another well-planned traffic robbery. Dashcam footage shows 3 armed men stepping out of a gray sedan in traffic and getting straight to business. Within seconds, they rushed back to their car, and the getaway driver, without hesitation, forced his way through the one-way traffic. You never know what Mafia members might be caught doing on camera. In this CCTV footage, 5 men casually walked into an ATM booth and started forcing a machine out. It was clear they had planned everything, as a getaway vehicle was already waiting. They struggled to load the heavy machine into the trunk while a passerby watched. After securing it, the car sped away and the guys dispersed. The country's police are just as intense in their efforts to combat the Russian Mafia. In this video, the Russian police Spetsnaz moved in fast, stopping a vehicle in traffic before jumping out in full commando style. The masked officers smashed the car windows and quickly captured their target. What happened next is unknown, as the dashcam vehicle drove away from the scene. Road rage in Russia is on another level. A dashcam captured the moment a white sedan driver, angry about something earlier, fired a shot at a car. After forcing the car to stop, the furious driver got out and used his bare fist to smash the windshield. Even Santa isn't always pleasant in this country. CCTV footage from a pawn shop captured 3 armed robbers dressed as Santa Claus in action. One of them held a man hostage, while the others grabbed valuables. Once they were done, they rushed toward the exit. As they reached the door, a customer opened it, but ran away after spotting the robbers. One chased after him, but quickly returned to alert the crew, and they all fled. In this video, a group of thieves stormed a jewelry shop and took everything they could grab, leaving the place empty. After investigating, the police tracked down the criminals and raided their hideout.
Сколько человек дома? Дома сколько? Ребенок, двое. Все.
Фамилия, имя? Уроженец? Фамилия, имя? Лицо показывай. Уроженец?
Mafia bosses live flashy lifestyles without apology. In this video, one is surrounded by a convoy of luxury cars rivaling those of world leaders. Even with all his guards, when it was time to leave, he took the driver's seat while his guards quickly loaded into their armored vehicles. In this video, two thieves break into a building to steal money from an ATM. They quickly secure the area and set up their tools. Once everything was ready, they started cutting through the vault and managed to open it. They then moved to the second ATM, opened it, and completely emptied both machines. These three robbers had everything planned before raiding the grocery store. As soon as they arrived, two held everyone inside hostage while the third locked the door and put up a closed sign. One robber led a store worker to the back, while another brought an electric cutter from their car. They then started cutting open an ATM inside the store, while the customers and staff remained hostage. A customer later approached the store but turned away after seeing the closed sign. Another person stood nearby, talking on the phone, while the robbers finished their job and drove off. Moments later, a police officer arrived at the scene. A police officer approached a vehicle suspected of carjacking and attempted to open the door. However, the suspect suddenly accelerated, speeding away and colliding with nearby vehicles in the process. The suspect managed to evade capture and escape the scene. A drunk person attempted to rob a store, armed with a toy gun and mask. The intoxicated individual's acrobatic attempt failed, resulting in him getting stuck mid-heist, clearly not knowing what he was doing. Widespread looting has been reported, with Russian perpetrators targeting local shops and residences. The marauders allegedly stole a vast array of items, including major appliances, clothing, and personal belongings. The scope of the looting is extensive, with reports indicating that nearly everything of value was taken.
Воруют абсолютно все. Все, что только можно. Выносят все. Вот. В пакетах, в тележках. Все выносят. Вон. Человек 8.
In a tense standoff, police closed in on a notorious gang known for a series of robberies and break-ins. The body cam footage reveals the officers' focused approach as they reached the suspect's door. Inside, the suspects had barricaded themselves, refusing to comply with repeated commands, heightening the tension with each passing second.
Открываем дверь, национальная полиция!
After several failed attempts to negotiate, the door was forcefully broken down with a loud bang from the battering ram. Instead of charging in, the officers calmly ordered the suspects to surrender one by one. Armed with weapons like a grenade launcher and pistols, the criminals were quickly taken into custody. Surveillance footage from a shop in Russia captured a tense moment. 2 robbers who had previously escaped a police operation were unknowingly being followed. As soon as they entered the store, 2 undercover officers swiftly moved in and apprehended them, making the arrest quick and efficient. In 2019, Andrei Ashov, leader of the Kurganskaya organized criminal group, was arrested in Krasnoyarsk, Russia, for allegedly murdering a man.
Сейчас у нас будет проведена общая ставка.
Пошла курва отсюда, я ж тебе объясню, урод. Пошли отсюда все, мне дверь выбить.
This footage shows him going hysterical, visibly losing his cool and trying to force his way out, albeit unsuccessfully. Witnesses reported that he fatally shot the victim while the man was riding his bike. The intense scene of his arrest left a lasting impression on many.
Снимайте мне типу, что делаете. Пошла нахуй отсюда, курва ебаная, я сказал, и ты, дура, тоже ловиться. Вы меня вымораживаете или что? Пошли отсюда, твари, я же вам сказал, никаких с вами общений не будет.
Да вы можете?
Пошла.
Outside a quiet car park, a white van sat unnoticed until the doors suddenly burst open, and police officers quickly seized 3 suspects. These men were central figures in an illegal arms trafficking ring. On February 27, 2024, in Kuga, Russia's FSB launched a major operation. Officers confiscated an arsenal, including 15 machine guns, 10 pistols, a rifle, and a machine gun. They also recovered over 100 weapon parts, 9 explosive devices, 3.5 kilograms of explosives, and extremist literature. Additionally, a secret lab and workshop used for making and upgrading weapons were shut down, dismantling a dangerous operation. On 21st July 2016, in Poland, a routine day turned upside down when a road rage incident on an empty street turned violent. The man, upset by a reckless driver, got out to confront him, only to realize the other driver was even crazier. In a crazy footage from Russia, which you have to see to believe a man took on 3 other guys and knocked them out. In a shocking incident, a fistfight at a parking zone ended up in a gunfight when a 19-year-old and his girlfriend took on another man but found themselves overwhelmed by the other guy. But then the 19-year-old did a stupid thing which he would regret for life. The 19-year-old and his girlfriend were charged with attempted murder. What can go wrong with two drunk Russian dudes outside a bar and a spilled drink? Here's the answer.
Actually, they're Russian.
Watch him in the face. How do you say that in Russian?
In Russia, they have unique ways of enforcing road laws, as this driver on the pedestrian pavement quickly discovered.
Доброе утро, здравствуйте. Общественное движение стоп-кам по тротуару движется, где люди ходят. Да, ну вот придется вам, пожалуйста, вернуться назад на проезжую часть, как заехали. Вперед никак все торопятся, но придется все-таки раньше выезжать по утрам. И тем не менее, пойдите навстречу назад, пожалуйста, возвращайтесь. Можете?
Да не сдам.
А, все, торопится, дама ушла уже. Опять. Понимаете, если вы просто не выйдете назад, мы вам такой замечательный стикер подарим на лобовое стекло. А он очень тяжело отдирается. Вот видите, мы нашли компромисс.
Пока не нашел, блин.
Тогда придется залепить вам на лобовое стекло. Попробуй.
Ну вот.
Все-таки нашли.
Ходи отсюда, уезжай с тротуара, здесь люди ходят.
Another driver took offense to the people blocking his path and tried to bully them.
Он сейчас дерево соберет. Вот видите, как это плохо по тротуарам ездить. В какую большую копеечку это встает. Хорошо, удачи.
4:24 to 5:00. This man learned the hard way that breaking the law and acting arrogant doesn't end well. He was mobbed and forced into submission.
Аккуратненько. Доброе утро. Доброе утро. Тихо, слышь, ты что делаешь? Ты что, охренел, что ли, блядь? Ты что, ничего не хочешь? Че человека дальше не тротуаре? Убил меня! На, держи камеру.
Ключи давай.
Убери ключи.
Ключи давай.
Руки убери.
Ключи давай.
Водитель.
Ключи давай.
Руки убирай.
Ключи давай.
Руки убирай, давай. Я просто присяду на камеру полетел. Пойдем, все.
Так же нельзя, ребят. Я опаздываю, понимаешь? Я не метро есть. Ключи куда делать?
Давай. Давай. Отвали от меня. Ты что, какой-то больной, что ли? Ты что так, меня трогаешь?
Я говорю, ключи давай.
Вот, уже, вот дорога, вот туда. Ключи.
Ключи давай.
Не повышай голос.
Ключи давай,
я
хули
еще
машину
говорю, я
влез,
твои
руку
ключи
убери,
не
я тебя не держу.
Ты разговаривай нормально, голос уменьши.
Руку убери.
Ты что, вообще, успокойся и садись в машину уже. Вообще, ездить по тротуарам нельзя, мешаешь людям, сбиваешь людей. Учись ездить. Машину права купил? Как хочу, вот будешь получать.
It was quite a scene in a Moscow mall when the anime gang PMC Redan clashed inside.
Чё? Стоять. Тебя ударили?
The chaos ended when mall guards stepped in and broke up the fight, bringing the group back to their senses.
Нормально все? Нормально.
After receiving intel and tracking down suspected Mafia members, special operatives sprang into action and targeted a sedan.
Отсюда заезжает автобус. Давай, работаем. Стреляй, стреляй! Стреляй по колесам!
The driver tried to escape, but it was no use. Some officers were wrestling with the steering wheel, holding on until they gained complete control of the vehicle.
Давай! Давай! Вперед, вперед, вперед! Закрывай! Закрывай! Закрывай, вперед! Давай, ебать! Давай, давай, давай! Лупи! Лупи стекло! Давай, лупи стекло! Давай, давай, вырывай! Вырывай! Вылезли все!
The Mafia members in the car finally gave up, stepped out, and were taken into custody by the officers.
На пол! На пол все! На пол! Убивай, блядь! Убивай! Убивай, пидорасов! Убивай, блядь! Руки, блядь, руки, сука!
After a G-Wagon overtook a Russian driver on the road, he got angry and pulled out his camera to record himself confronting the driver.
В смысле он меня подрезал? В смысле он меня подрезал? Я не понял вообще.
Fuming, he walked up to the G-Wagon, knocked on the driver's door, and demanded an explanation, but he instantly regretted it when the window rolled down, revealing Special Forces officers, with one of them pointing a gun at him. Luckily for him, the officers weren't after him, so he quickly ran back to his car.
Ты как ездишь?
Чё хочу?
Извините, извините.
Что, что ли? А?
В смысле, это свои были?
Я понял, заебал.
Special Forces recorded the moment they broke into a bulletproof Mafia car and arrested the driver.
Это уникальные кадры. Спецназ полиции, вооружившись кувалдой, пытается вскрыть бронированный инкассаторский автомобиль. Объясняется все просто. За рулем не сотрудник охранной фирмы, а торговец наркотиками.
The car had a strange design, built to protect its passengers from gunshots and explosions from rival gangs.
Двойное стекло бронированное, да?
Через крошечное окошко в машину передавали деньги. Из него же клиенты получали так называемую соль. Крайне опасный синтетический наркотик, вызывающий мгновенное привыкание и быстро превращающий наркоманов в пациента психиатрической клиники.
Задняя стенка автомобиля тоже усилена металлом 5 мм. Стекла двойные.
Staying safe in Russia isn't always easy. You never know who you might encounter. In this dash cam footage, a sedan driver got upset during an argument. Instead of moving on, he lost his temper and grabbed an axe. Who even drives around with an axe? the other driver had to back up as the furious man smashed his window, clearly trying to cause as much damage as possible. As the first driver reversed, the angry man considered throwing the axe but changed his mind and returned to his car. It didn't end there. The man, clearly prepared for trouble, pulled out a pistol and started shooting before speeding off. On February 17, 2016, armed law enforcement officers raided a restaurant in Dzerzhinsky, Moscow, to break up a meeting of high-ranking Russian Mafia members known as the Vori v Zakone, or Thieves in Law. A total of 59 Mafia members were arrested. The attendees were heavily armed. Officers confiscated 15 handguns, 5 rifles, a shotgun, and 15 knives. The weapons were sent for testing to check if they were linked to previous crimes. It's hard to stay safe in Russia because you never know who you might encounter. In this dashcam footage, the sedan driver wasn't happy with how the argument went. Instead of letting it go, he got angry and grabbed an axe. Who even drives around with an axe? The other driver had to back up as the furious man smashed his window, clearly trying to cause damage. Seeing his target reverse, the angry Russian thought about throwing the axe, but then changed his mind and stormed back to his car. It seemed like he had been ready for something like this because, out of nowhere, he pulled out a pistol and started shooting before speeding off. Whoever the target was, they were lucky. You don't hear about highway drive-by shootings every day, but when Russian mafia men get angry, they don't hold back. In the video, a man squeezed himself out of the car window with a long rifle. After passing a couple of vehicles, the man did not shoot, but whoever he had in mind was lucky that he did not pull the trigger. Even teenagers in Russia want a piece of the chaos. They don't just mess with street signs or other kids, they go for full-on train heists. In this footage, the train captain is in shock and terrified as a group of teenagers keeps trying to force the train door open. From how panicked he is, it's clear that teens like these have done more than just steal during train robberies. Thankfully, the train finally started moving. On February 17, 2016, armed law enforcers raided a restaurant in Dzerzhinsky, Moscow, to disrupt a meeting of high-ranking Russian Mafia members known as the Vori v Zakone, or Thieves in Law. A total of 59 Mafia members were arrested. The attendees came heavily armed. Officers seized 15 handguns, 5 rifles, a shotgun, and 15 knives. The weapons were sent for testing to see if they were linked to past crimes. The Mafia members were between 20 and 47 years old, and many had prior criminal records. The Vors are one of Russia's most powerful criminal organizations, similar to the Made Men. In Chelyabinsk, the Mafia controls the roads. They set up checkpoints on highways, stop drivers, and write them tickets.
729.
Ты, блин, что подъел мне раз, я не знаю, как ты прорывался, блин. Блин, 5 бригад работает конкретно. Так, смотри, вот меня Олег зовут, пишу ЧТЗ, блядь. Блядь, как?
The drivers have to pay for these tickets. It is like a road pass.
Читызовский, я понял? Олег Читызовский, блядь. И вот кто у нас за городом смотрит, за читызовские пацаны, вот пусть твой шеф поинтересуется, Олег Читызовский. Работает на трассе, и пусть поинтересуется.
This kind of ambush feels like something out of a movie, not real life. The Benz driver must have been shocked when a car on his left suddenly swerved before him, trapping his vehicle. When he saw the car doors swing open and people rushing toward him, he tried to reverse, but he was stuck. The robbers smashed his window, forced him to open the trunk, and within seconds they emptied his car. Ever wondered what happens when a gang of teenage mobs raids a train? This video shows it all. Recorded by one of the teens, it captures the moment they attacked a train worker and forced him to open a door. At the other end of the train, the teens were busy looting whatever they could. Russian mafia gangs are known for their confidence. In this video, 2 gangs walked openly into the street, clearly ready to fight. And they did. Both groups clashed, throwing punches at each other. daring robbery occurred when bandits on a motorcycle intercepted a Ukrainian citizen's vehicle. The thieves broke the car window, snatching a bag containing 36,000 euros. However, the driver quickly pursued the perpetrators and used his car to him the fleeing bike from behind. In 2013, a very dangerous Russian criminal escaped from detention, and his escape was captured by CCTV cameras. The man was in a tall building, probably on the highest floor, but he had a plan and made a rope.
В Москве предстанут перед судом бывшие сотрудники следственного изолятора «Матросская тишина». По версии следствия, именно по их вине в мае...
He climbed out the window with his makeshift rope and gently lowered himself to a certain height before jumping into the compound.
В вине в мае этого года из СИЗО сбежал опасный преступник. В распоряжении нашей программы оказались кадры побега. Их просмотрел Иван Зоев.
Эти кадры показываются впервые. Запись, сделанная камерами видеонаблюдения, установленными на фасаде следственного изолятора номер 1, иначе «Матросской тишины». Вот в кадре появляется веревка, следом по ней спускается человек. Этот мужчина в черной шапке и перчатках. В одной руке он держит покрывало. Вот он опирается ногами на оконную решетку. В какой-то момент поворачивается лицом к камере. Вот этот кадр. Нет сомнений, что мужчина на видео, сбежавший в начале мая из изолятора «Матросская тишина», заключенный Олег Топалов. В распоряжении нашей программы оказалось полное видео этого.
Then, with the composure of an owner, he walked into the offices where policemen saw him but didn't recognize him as a detainee. The prisoner casually walked through the door and to the front of the premises before leaving altogether.
Вот Топалов бросает одеяло вниз на колючую проволоку, оглядывается по сторонам и, убедившись, что никто его не видит, прыгает на забор. Потом, уверенно и словно не замечая охранника, проходит через КПП, расположенного по соседству трамвайного депо. На свободе Олег Топалов пробыл чуть более суток. Его задержали в Москве в Измайловском парке. После завели уголовное дело в отношении сотрудников СИЗО, ответственных за содержание под стражей подозреваемых.
В ходе ненадлежащего исполнения Добрыниным, Синяковскими и Платоновым своих обязанностей вследствие небрежного и недобросовестного отношения к службе, отсутствие бдительности по несению службы, содержащийся под стражей в камере следственного изолятора Олег Топалов совершил побег.
Вот то самое КПП, видеокамеры которого запечатлели беглеца. Непонятно, почему охранники не сообщили в полицию о появлении Топалова, который отличался.
This body cam footage shows the arrest of a gang of masked robbers from Astrakhan. The men lured 4 victims to remote areas, where they were attacked with fists, feet, and bats. The robbers stole their phones and money, and one victim was set on fire, but survived. The gang filmed the attacks and shared the videos online. The FSB and criminal security officers tracked them down, and the Russian National Guard made the arrest. The men face 8 to 15 years in prison, fines, and further restrictions.
В качестве оружия с применением предметов, используемых в качестве оружия на местных лиц. Совершено преступление также в целях отыскания и изъятия предметов. Есть предметы, запрещенные в гражданском обороте.
Синьковский.
In early October 2013, a shocking incident occurred in Kiev's Podol district. Dash cam footage from a civilian car showed two unmarked vehicles, including a Porsche Panamera, blocking another car. Armed men then emerged and opened fire on the targeted vehicle. During the attack, a hostage inside managed to escape, while the scene left bystanders in disbelief.
Porsche Panamera.
Ё-моё.
Вот смотри, кто-то убегает вон туда, красный.
This video shows the moment when arrogant bike riders were put in their place by the Mafia. The bikers thought they owned the roads and tried to bully other riders, but they immediately found out the consequences of messing around with the wrong people. In St. Petersburg, Russia, robbers made the grave mistake of targeting a jewelry store, unaware that law enforcement was ready and waiting. Law enforcement swiftly foiled the heist, apprehending the robbers, who surrendered quietly and confessed.
За что задержаны?
Ну, за нападение на ювелирный магазин.
Ювелирный салон, да?
Салон, да.
Много взять хотели? Успели что-то взять, нет?
Each and every member of the gang was questioned, and they had no other option but to tell the truth.
За что задержаны полицейские?
За то, что возил ребят.
Возили ребят?
Ну, и подвез ребят, остановили.
Часто вы их возили?
Нет.
Нет?
Нет.
Да, один раз привезли сюда?
Ну, вообще их 2 раза возил.
Угу. Вы понимаете, что вы соучастник, да?
Я не соучастник.
Соучастник?
Нет.
То есть вы их привезли и что? Ждали в машине?
Нет, я уехал.
А, вы уехали?
Они не должны были ко мне идти, я их привез и уехал.
Вы таксист, что ли?
Ну, типа того.
Или вы их знаете?
Нелегально.
Знаете их?
On August 11th, 2020 in Belarus, protests erupted over reports of a rigged election, with the military deployed to suppress the unrest. This video captures the intensity of their confrontation with protesters.
Стой, стой, стой! Стойте, мужики, стойте! Стойте, стойте, стойте!
Да что делать, мы свои!
Стой, стой, стой!
Да мы свои!
A passenger was found at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he unfortunately found out the exact scale of the crackdown on protests firsthand.
Пожалуйста, стойте, пожалуйста, пожалуйста, стойте! Пожалуйста, стойте, стойте! Все, стоит!
This video shows how road rage can turn crazy in a moment's notice. As the drivers tried to outdo each other, one of the angry drivers decided to confront the other, but with weapons. On 26 April 2013, in Russia, an incident with the local mafia picking up a fight with a regular citizen was caught on a dash cam, but it didn't go as the local goon had expected. But the man was not about to take the bullying lightly and got out of his car to have a second go at the mafia, who was caught by surprise. Stuck in traffic and frustrated, a mafia member got into a fit of road rage. He approached another driver to confront him, but the driver didn't take it well. In response, he pulled out pepper spray and sprayed both himself and the mafia guy.
Улучшая отношения с разными фракциями, чтобы получить доступ к новым технологиям. Если ты играешь с друзьями, то вместе вы можете собрать непобедимого составного робота. На карте мира ты найдешь любое задание, бои с другими.
Unfortunately for the driver, the pepper spray didn't have the effect he hoped for. Instead, it enraged the mafia member, who grabbed a gun and, without hesitation, fired at the driver in retaliation.
Битву, сражения с огромными боссами или сюжетный режим. Также в игре постоянно проходят особые ивенты. Прокачай Battle Pass, чтобы открывать новые детали и чертежи. Качай кроссаут бесплатно по ссылке в описании.
Riding with a gang can sometimes give a biker a false sense of power, and that was precisely the case here. As a black SUV was rounding a corner, one biker, feeling bold, decided to swerve at the vehicle. The SUV, packed with mafia members, didn't take it lightly. They chased the biker and forced him to the side of the road. The mafia men stormed out of the car, visibly angry, with weapons strapped to their sides. It looked like the bikers' fate was sealed as they approached, armed and ready. Fortunately, bystanders stepped in and calmed the situation, defusing the chaos.
Abi hani hızlı geliyorlar ya, kontrol amaçlı ya. Abi kontrol amaçlı.
This dash cam captured when a G-Wagon suddenly stopped next to an SUV, causing traffic to halt. The driver quickly got out of his vehicle. It seemed something had happened earlier, and the G-Wagon driver, who turned out to be a Mafia member, wouldn't let it go. He went straight to the SUV's passenger seat and started throwing punches at the passenger. Surprisingly, the passenger fought back while the SUV driver tried to drive off. The Mafia driver returned to his vehicle, but to everyone's surprise, the SUV passenger got out and went after him to continue the fight. Despite taking several punches to the face, the passenger stubbornly refused to back down, determined to stop the Mafia guy from leaving. CCTV captured a tense moment between a bald Mafia guy and a pub customer. Initially, it seemed like a simple misunderstanding, as the two men argued calmly without any signs of aggression. But suddenly, the bald guy threw a jab straight at the other man's face. The seated man tried to hold back the Mafia guy, but that only made him more aggressive. The situation quickly spiraled out of control as everyone around watched helplessly. Fortunately, a man in a blue jacket showed up just in time. He immediately stepped in to separate the two men. When the bald guy refused to back down and kept pushing for more, the man in the blue jacket ended the fight with a few hard punches, knocking the Mafia guy out cold before calmly walking away. In Russia, teenage gangs operate differently. In this video, a train operator captures the moment several teens try to break into a train. Luckily for the operator, the train started moving just in time before they could get inside. When these teens manage to board the trains, they steal anything they can find and even attack the operators.
Дай перчатку заберу. Кирилл, все, нет. Перчатку забери. Полез, блядь, долбоёб. Побежал, съёбываемся. У меня ебальник купил.
In this case, cops were after a Mafia transport truck carrying several bulletproof cars. Despite the officers' desperate efforts, the reckless truck driver showed no signs of stopping.
Давай. Оп. Стрелять, наверное. Стрелять.
Realizing the driver wouldn't pull over, one officer overtook the truck, hid in the bushes, and did something unexpected. He threw a large stone at the truck's windshield. That was enough to make the driver stop, and he was taken into custody. In December 2015, 53 Mafia members were meeting at a country club in a Moscow suburb when special forces busted them.
In law, are a powerful and interesting bunch with one of the most fascinating underworld codes among the world's major organized crime groups. Unlike career criminals of other global underworld traditions, such as the Italian Mafia, who often mingle seamlessly.
When one Mafia member was interviewed, he explained that they had gathered because one group member sold a car to someone in the other group without mentioning that it had been stolen. The buyer felt insulted and wanted compensation.
Apparently, a member of one group sold the BMW to a member of the other without first warning him that it was stolen.
Друзья? А кто друзья? Друзья кто? А по какой статье вы ранее судимы? Давно освободились?
The buyer considered this a great insult and sought compensation, if not revenge.
After gathering intel on a gun-running gang, the Russian army raided the area. As soon as they entered the property, they took an older man wearing a military uniform into custody. Inside the building, the officers found a wide range of weapons, from handguns and rifles to knives, grenades, and various types of bullets. After interrogating the arrested suspect, they learned more about other members of the gang and began a manhunt.
Фамилия, имя, отчество.
Яковлев Александр Петрович.
Громче.
Яковлев Александр Петрович.
Год рождения. Лицо вниз. На голову.
In this CCTV footage, 5 men casually walked into an ATM booth and began trying to remove the machine. They had planned this, as a getaway car was already waiting. They struggled to load the heavy machine into the trunk while a passerby watched. After finally securing it, the vehicle sped off and the men scattered. It seems like almost every man in Russia is part of a mob gang. In this video, an impatient taxi driver overtook some cars, which annoyed the driver with the dash cam. He called out the taxi driver and overtook him in return, but that wasn't the end.
О, хуй тут едешь, урод ебаный.
Moments later, the taxi came speeding back, overtook the dashcam car, and suddenly blocked the road. The people inside jumped out, and the driver went straight to his trunk.
Чё хуесос, блядь?
He pulled out a baseball bat while the dash cam driver also stepped out holding an axe. Luckily, they settled things without a fight. The lanky man thought he was helping the Mafia guys with the smoke, but he didn't expect what happened next. After the shorter Mafia guy lit his cigarette, he suddenly punched him with an uppercut and then robbed him. Stuck in heavy traffic, a Russian gangster saw the perfect chance to rob another driver. 3 men began smashing the car's windows while the trapped driver had nowhere to escape.
Всего доброго. До свидания. Вот чурки, что говорят.
After a few more hits, the driver finally gave in and opened the door for the robbers.
Наши все сидят. Куда позвонить?
What seemed like a peaceful night drive took a sudden turn for a Thai truck driver when a reckless sedan swerved into his lane without warning. The driver got out to check the damage, thinking it was just an accident, but he was wrong. Mafia members were actually robbing him. In this video, a police van suddenly blocked the path of a Russian Mafia convoy. An officer walked up to one of the drivers to talk. Soon, other mob members got out of their cars and approached the officer in a threatening way. When two robbers tried to rob a shop, this Russian man wouldn't let them take his favorite store. With courage, the elderly man approached the robber with the gun at the counter and tried to disarm him. Despite taking several hits to the face, he bravely managed to push the robbers out of the store. Late-night dash cam footage shows a bike suddenly appearing on Highway 78 West, before the turnpike in Russia. Two men are then seen manning a random roadblock in the middle of the highway.
What's going on? Can I help you with something?
The footage raises questions about the purpose and origin of the mysterious roadblock. In an audacious act of violence, an attempted kidnapping unfolds on a busy street in Russia. Two men leap from their car and rush to the vehicle in front, trying to force their way inside. The targeted driver manages to escape by speeding away, prompting the would-be kidnappers to retreat to their own vehicle and give chase. A group of Russian Mafia members blocks a highway, preparing for a robbery. The robbers, armed, approach the stopped vehicles. The Mafia members demand valuables and cash from the drivers in a brazen daylight robbery. A road rage incident occurred in Russia, involving two drivers. The situation escalated as one driver, feeling agitated, exited his vehicle and retrieved an axe. The driver attempted to throw the axe at the other vehicle, but the other driver backed away, before eventually getting back in his car and driving away. A regular day for this store clerk turned into a nightmare when 3 gang members stormed the store with serious-looking guns. The clerk respectfully kept to himself as the men robbed the place of valuables, meaning the crime scene with a blue bag. Near the Three Cat shopping center in Astrakhan, a tense scene unfolded. 4 men, their faces pressed against the ground, were surrounded by police officers. This wasn't just another arrest. The Criminal Investigation Department, with the support of the elite Grom unit, had been silently tracking these local extortionists. Their victim, a 21-year-old student, had been terrorized for 5 months. The criminals had threatened to expose damaging secrets, forcing the student to pay 200,000 rubles. However, as the next extortion attempt was about to unfold, detectives intervened, bringing justice to the situation.
За что задержан? Не знаю. Громче, за что задержан? Не знаю. Что здесь делал?
Я просто с другом приехал.
С каким?
С Нуриком.
А эти кто такие?
Ну, это знакомый мой.
А что лежишь на полу?
Ну, я просто стоял здесь.
А лежишь зачем?
Я не знаю, но полицию я ничего не делал.
Чайник подними свой. Чем занимаешься здесь?
Не знаю еще.
Число не изготовлено.
30.01 1999.
Почему задержан?
Не знаю. Сейчас.
Деньги брал?
Деньги? Нет.
Вымогательство?
Нет.
Кто брал?
Не знаю, я не брал ни в руки. В руки ни разу не брал.
Деньги вымогал?
Деньги
вымогал.
In December 2018, a jewelry shop was targeted in a daylight robbery. 2 men, one of whom was a security employee at the store, executed the heist with precision. Their heist was successful as they left the place unscathed, but they were later apprehended, and their involvement shocked the local community.
Девочки, осторожненько, на кнопочку никто не нажимает. Встали быстренько, встали. Ручки сверху. Ручки сверху, отвернулись к стене. Ключики от ящиков железные где?
У нас нет ключей.
Нет ключей?
This footage shows 2 rival Russian gangs clashing with each other on the street. The fight is very uneven, though because one group is less in numbers by far, and here's the result. The lesser group lost in a matter of seconds, and the winners celebrated their victory right on the spot. This brawl escalated rather quickly. The footage initially shows one man knocked to the ground by a member of a rival gang, but a door-long chaos erupted, leading to many more knockouts. This video shows another daylight robbery attempt on a busy street in Russia, where two assailants stopped in a busy road with guns and weapons to steal valuables from a surprised victim.
Всего доброго. До свидания. Вот чурки что говорят.
The victim received several wounds from the assailants who rushed away from the crime scene with everybody else too stunned to react.
Есть шпана. У нас все сидят. Да, сейчас. Куда позвонить? Что, ограбили? Или просто раздолбали?
In Peterborough, a teenage drug dealer was caught supplying known drug users before attempting to flee from plainclothes police officers. The man didn't get far before being caught and questioned by police.
My colleagues have identified you. You've been here, they've seen you here doing exchanges, and they've said you've run off and chucked a load of drugs.
It wasn't me.
Okay, it's a suspicion. If it wasn't you, it wasn't you, yeah? But I suspect it was at the moment, and that's why you're under arrest. Okay?
Why am I? Are you going to take me to the station?
Yeah.
And waste the whole day? Tomorrow's my birthday, bro.
I know, mate, but ultimately, if I suspect you've been selling Class A drugs here...
I haven't sold nothing, bro.
Okay, and if that's the case, we'll do inquiries at CCTV. There's all sorts, isn't there, yeah? We'll do some inquiries. But at the minute, I suspect that you've been selling Class A drugs here because my colleagues think they've seen you doing it.
What, me?
Yeah.
I was speaking to you earlier.
You and your friend, yeah. I know you were, but that doesn't mean you can't have been doing this a bit later.
I haven't. It wasn't me.
Alright. Yeah, I've got him, mate.
On 10th March 2009, a Russian mafia pulled off a daylight robbery on a busy highway. This video captures the moment a reckless driver in Russia pissed off the wrong people on the road and faced the consequences. The Russian mob surrounded the vehicle, and their aura was enough to drive home their message without it coming to any violence. Here is the exact moment when a mafia boss found himself surrounded by Russian special forces in the middle of the road. The special forces wasted no time in restraining the mafia head and showed him who's boss. This video shows a daring ATM robbery in Russia by two miscreants. They rigged the ATM machine with explosives and blew it apart and took off with the cash. In Chelyabinsk, the Mafia controls the highways. They set up checkpoints and make drivers pay cash to pass.
Олег зовут, пишу, ЧТЗ, блядь. Блядь, как? Читызовский, я понял? Олег Читызовский, блядь.
The driver is given a ticket in this clip as proof of payment.
За городом смотрят, за читызовские пацаны. Вот пусть твой шеф поинтересуется, Олег Читызовский. Он работает на трассе, и пусть поинтересуется.
In another restaurant raid in Yekaterinburg, officers arrested 167 suspects during a meeting.
Russia's Interior Ministry has released a video of a police raid on a restaurant in which 167 suspected gang members were arrested. It happened in the central city.
The officers said the gang leaders were in the middle of dividing territories for their operations.
The authorities say organized crime gang leaders were meeting to carve up territory. The police seized weapons, drugs, and allegedly counterfeit spirits.
On July 12, 2016, FSB agents stormed the luxurious home of one of Russia's most infamous crime bosses, Zakhary Kalashov, also known as Shakro Molodoy, in Rublevka, an upscale area in Moscow. His men were forced to the ground with their hands on their heads as officers held them at gunpoint. In a video from his kitchen, an officer questioned Kalashov about being a thief-in-law. Kalashov just smirked, refusing to talk on camera, and demanded the recording stop for a real conversation. The officer, however, refused to turn it off.
Фамилия, имя, отчество ваше. Я ничего не буду говорить. Вы являетесь ли вором в законе? Отвечайте, пожалуйста. Я не буду перед камерой ничего говорить. Ваше положение в преступном мире. Не буду перед камерой ничего говорить. Вы еще тут не разыгрываете.
In Russia, road rage often takes a wild turn. In this clip, a taxi driver impatiently overtook some cars, which annoyed the dashcam driver. Frustrated, the dashcam driver called him out and overtook him in retaliation, but things didn't end there.
О, хуй тут едет, рот ебаный.
A few moments later, the taxi sped past again, swerved in front, and blocked the road. The passengers jumped out and the taxi driver headed straight to his trunk.
Чё хуесос, блядь?
He pulled out a baseball bat while the dashcam driver stepped out, holding an axe. Thankfully, they managed to calm down and walk away without a fight. After watching these Mafia members closely for some time, undercover officers finally took action. They cornered the suspect's car in the middle of the road and surrounded it from all sides. Without any struggle, the suspects gave up peacefully.
Работаем? Работаем. Все, погнали. Да, перекрывай. Все, работаем.
Стоп, работа, пошел, вышел, вышел! Вышел,
When searching the car, the officers found a gun, a sledgehammer, and a military weapon. What started as a peaceful night drive quickly changed for a truck driver when a reckless sedan suddenly swerved into his lane. The truck driver got out to check for damage, thinking it was just an accident, but he quickly realized Mafia members were robbing him. Surveillance camera captured this gripping footage where a group of people were sitting on the subway. Two people suspiciously sat apart from the rest. Then a man walked up to them, but wasn't given even a second to think before a kick landed on him, followed by the cold nuzzle of a pistol. The two men were apparently members of a Mafia family. What you see here is a gathering of Mafia bosses, a very dangerous place to be in, but they're not alone or unprotected. these crime lords are gathering right under the protection of the Russian police itself. Well, that's just a twist in the narrative. Shouldn't the police be doing the exact opposite? Police in Russia say one of the main figures in the country's organized crime community has been gunned down in Moscow. Aslan Usoyan controlled a criminal group which trafficked drugs and weapons and ran clandestine businesses. The 75-year-old was killed by a single shot.
Police in Russia say one of the main figures in the country's organized crime community has been gunned down in Moscow. Aslan Usoyan controlled a criminal group which trafficked drugs and weapons and ran clandestine businesses. The 75-year-old was killed by a single shot.
This footage shows the interior of what looks like an office space. In the video, we see three people either agitated or supposedly going about their businesses until this happened. A group of people in black stormed the place, and a deadly brawl broke out between them and the three men. Whatever caused this gang war must have been real serious. This man's day turned into a nightmare, all because of his choice of road. His dashcam shows the moment when he got caught in the midst of a Mafia gunfight. Luckily, he escaped unharmed, but you could hear the sound of the bullets doing damage on the car.
Вы что, дурачки чешут? Попало. Давай. Куда с тобой? Ой, бля, попал. Куда, Вань? Давай я за руль сюда.
In the North Caucasus Federal District, Russian police conducted a special operation to arrest members of a kidnapping and extortion gang. During a routine traffic stop, officers captured the suspects, but the gang's leader managed to escape. The other members now face up to 15 years in prison.
Все, работаем!
Работаем!
In the video, a highway robber is seen attempting to make away with a van, captured by a witness's dash cam. It was later revealed that the robber, a member of a notorious gang, had hijacked the vehicle, which led to the confrontation. Despite efforts by bystanders to help, the robber remained dangerous. Eventually, the robber drove off, leaving the victims stranded with their damaged van. Ironically, his stolen car was also left in a damaged state. An altercation occurred between a man wielding a knife and Russian police. The situation escalated, resulting in the man being shot in the leg. The police then quickly subdued the individual to restore order. A carjacking attempt in Russia quickly turned sour for the thief. The car's owner, upon noticing the theft, confronted and began physically assaulting the carjacker. Several bystanders joined in, but eventually the crowd dispersed, leaving the thief battered and the car owner driving away. A daring ATM robbery occurred in Volgograd, Russia, as thieves wearing masks stormed into a store. The masked individuals held customers and staff hostage, then attempted to cut open the ATM using specialized equipment. Successfully accessing the cash, the thieves fled the scene in their getaway vehicle. This video shows robbers showing up to rob a jewelry store in a Santa costume. The robbers held the employees hostage at gunpoint while they proceeded to fill their sacks with the valuables. After looting the valuables, they quickly made their escape before anyone could alarm the police. Football fans are passionate, and when they clash with equally fervent rivals, things can escalate quickly, as this video shows. The Polish and Russian fans went head-to-head against each other as tempers escalated, and the riot police had to get involved to quell the drunk, angry mobsters. All of this over a game of football, as the police apprehended the miscreants who found the consequences of messing with the police and causing damage to public property.
Oni atakują! Panowie, tanki atakują! Nikt nie robi, no kurwa! Kurwa, no!
In another road rage incident, a scooter rider, fed up with a car honking at him, decided to confront the driver himself. In a chilling crime, a gang of thugs carried out a fatal attack on their target in broad daylight. This footage shows what would have been a deadly confrontation between the Russian police and a mafia family. Fortunately, nothing happened except that the police officer zoomed off, leaving his colleague behind. This footage from 2018 captured the moment a mafia leader met to the end of the road. Police dashcam showed how the military trapped the mafia boss's car in the middle of two other vehicles, and armed men immediately rushed to apprehend him. Messing with a mafia member is the most ill-advised thing to do in Russia. This civilian was this close to having his head blown off by a bullet when he decided to stand up to a mafia member in a road rage.
Улучшай отношения с разными фракциями, чтобы получить доступ к новым технологиям. Если ты играешь с друзьями, то вместе вы можете собрать непобедимого составного робота. На карте мира ты найдешь любое задание, бои с другими игроками, королевскую битву, сражения с огромными боссами или сюжетный режим. Также в игре постоянно проходят особые ивенты. Прокачай Battle Pass, чтобы открывать новые детали и чертежи. Качай Кросс-аут бесплатно по ссылке в описании и получайте все, пиздец, попал в ролик.
Two senior members of rival mafia gangs chased in Moscow when the traffic was slow. Verbal argument quickly turned into a fistfight and grappling, and before long a gun appeared. Thankfully, no shot was fired.
Парни, спокойно!
Dashcam captured this footage of a road rage showing a suspected mafia member leaving his Mercedes to hit the other driver. But then this happened. He's lucky the mafia man didn't pull out a gun. It's not advised to exchange blows with just anyone in Russia. "42-year-old rebel boss, Alexander Zakarchenko, stepped into this Ukrainian cafe with his bodyguard after pulling up in exotic cars, and then this happened. No one knows who planted the bomb, but the men didn't last more than a few seconds before being blown apart.
Эти кадры еще не видел никто, кроме экспертов. Камеры наблюдения кафе «Сепаратист» беспристрастно фиксируют последние секунды жизни главы Донецкой Народной Республики.
Вот подъезжает его кортеж. Охрана осматривает периметр. Первым в заведение входит один из телохранителей, чтобы проверить зал. Только после этого в тамбур идет Александр Захарченко и следом еще один охранник. Тут же раздается взрыв.
Александр Захарченко обычно сразу проходил вот в этот угол, где уже горела печка-буржуйка, можно сразу было попить горячего чаю, а еще на его столе всегда стояла табличка «Стол заминирован».
On August 26, 2021, a routine day at the barber shop went sour quickly as a suspect entered the shop with sinister intentions. The man began threatening the owner for money who had no choice but to comply. A crazy robbery occurred at a local bank in Russia, where an unidentified man came inside the bank and turned extremely violent. The situation went from bad to worse as the man took out a knife and threatened the female employee with it.
Выйдешь, сука, отсюда, отвечай. Почему отвечаешь? Я догоню, сука. Больше, пожалуйста. Не думай даже выбегать и орать. Я тебе отвечаю. Хорошо. Сука, догоню. А нихуя, знаешь, что я сяду сейчас на 5-6? Я нихуя, сука, воткну тебе. Хорошо. Просто твоя жизнь просто лишится просто так. Хорошо. Хорошо? Да. Пап, сюда. Сейчас я стекло уберу, хорошо? Сюда, тела, говорю, быстрее, нахуй тебе стекло нужно. Быстро сюда сложу. Быстрее. Все, извините, все. Еще раз дернешься? Я молчу. Не обессу, я тебе сразу говорю. Догоню, сука, я один хуй сюда прям забегу. Ну, сука, я тебе повтыкаю. Ну, нахуй тебе нужно. Хорошо? Ты не хочешь не лишиться? Нет. Не хочешь? А мне терять нечего. Все. Не веришь? Все, пожалуйста. Я тебе покажу это. Я тебе сейчас просто две ноги твои проткну. Пожалуйста, не надо, я молчу. Да. Я молчу, все. Иди просто и все.
This video shows how multiple masked gunmen exchanged fire with another gang at a gas station. Innocent bystanders ran for cover as the miscreants kept causing havoc. The situation seemed to escalate as the gangsters kept firing off at each other. This video captures a gang of watch snatchers targeting plainclothes officers wearing luxury watches, like Rolexes near night spots, where they've been preying on unsuspecting revelers. Unaware their targets are police, the gang is swiftly ambushed by a backup team after stealing the watches. The operations resulted in 31 arrests and 27 successful charges, leading to 21 convictions to date. Of this group, 14 individuals have so far been sentenced to a total of 26 years overall, with other cases pending. A bizarre incident in Russia saw a cyclist, a VIP with bodyguards, and a local mafia gang clash on the streets, creating a recipe for chaos. The three Caucasian men were sentenced to 10 years in prison for serious traffic violations and a pre-planned assassination attempt on a VIP. Meanwhile, the cyclist was fined 500 rubles for crossing the street in the wrong place. Drone and body cam footage captured the moment tactical officers raided a top Russian-speaking crime network. The officers immediately arrested the suspects on the breach, and as they searched the house, they found a tunnel leading to a basement filled with weapons, money, and jewelry. Fueled by adrenaline, this Russian mobster cocked his AK-47 and fired shots into the air for fun.
Носил с собой ствол, носил патрон в стволе. Через окно ОМОН весь токи нас.
After letting off enough rounds, he returned to his car, where his family set up camp. In this video, FSB agents raided a house that was suspected of hiding weapons for terrorists. They arrested the people inside and found homemade pistols and bullets, confirming their intel. Similar raids took place in multiple cities, leading to the arrest of 134 people and the recovery of more weapons, including over 30 kilograms of explosives.
Все, давайте, начинайте, багажник открыл.
Захват, захват.
А что я сделал, ребята? Руки под себя! Руки под себя!
Оружие.
Есть! Тихо,
Like any mob celebration, this one wouldn't be complete without gunfire. In this video, a gang member fired shots into the air. After that, another Mafia member spun his car in circles, blocking traffic. In this video, Russia's FSB carried out a sting operation, arresting a man in the middle of a parking lot.
Руки! Машину, машину!
They arrested another man in the same way. Both were members of the Shamil Basayev and Katab gangs and had taken part in an armed attack on Russian soldiers in October 1999, which killed 15 people and left 28 seriously injured.
Руки! Машину, машину! Руку! Ну давай! Ну давай!